All right, so we've got this stack of articles here. Looks like we're doing a deep dive into Meta's 2024. Um, a lot of financial reports. You want the real story, beyond the headlines. I think that's what we're going to try to figure out today.
Exactly. Peel back those layers.
Yeah. I'm already seeing Llama 4 popping up everywhere. That sounds intriguing, right?
Yeah.
And you get this, there's this buzz about AI glasses, like becoming as common as smartphones.
It's really interesting. When you dig into these reports, you start to see that Meta is really focused on a few key areas. They're going all in on generative AI, their discovery engine, the metaverse, and get this, threads.
Seriously. Are
Yeah,
they like trying to take on Twitter?
it seems like it. Threads is a big part of their plan. And then, of
Right.
course, there's the huge investment in Reality Labs, their metaverse division.
Right.
Even though it's still operating at a loss, they're pouring resources into it.
So they're really playing the long game, huh?
Yeah, they're betting big on the future.
But what about right now? What's the financial picture look like?
Well, their revenue, their primary source of revenue is still advertising on their, what they call their family of apps. Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and WhatsApp.
Right.
That segment alone brought in like $162 billion.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's a lot of money. That's not surprising though, is it? I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of what they're known for, right? But I did notice they're talking about monetization efficiency now.
hmm
What does that even mean?
So they're trying to get more value out of each ad.
Okay.
They're using AI to optimize ad placement, and they're pushing what they call Advantage Plus campaigns.
Advantage Plus.
These campaigns use AI to target ads more precisely, which ultimately leads to more revenue for Meta.
So they're like getting smarter with their advertising.
Exactly.
Which makes sense. I mean, it's such a competitive market.
Yeah.
But, I also saw that they're talking about bringing ads to Threads.
Right. They are testing that.
That's a risky move, isn't it?
It could be. It's not going to be like a major revenue stream immediately. They're doing a gradual rollout. It's They need to balance monetization with user experience.
Yeah.
Especially on a platform like Threads.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay, so let's dig into this whole Llama 4 thing that everyone's talking about. What is it? What makes it so groundbreaking?
So Llama 4, it's the next generation of their large language model.
Mm-hmm.
And it's poised to be a game changer.
Okay.
It's what they call multimodal,
Multimodal.
meaning it can handle different types of data like text, images, and audio. But here's the really interesting part. It's also what they call agentic,
Agent.
meaning it can act independently, almost like an AI assistant.
Whoa, hold on. So it's like independent AI.
Kind of, yeah. It's a big step in that
What
direction.
does that even, like, what are the implications of that?
The implications are huge. Think about it. Meta is even predicting the rise of what they're calling AI engineers by the end of 2025. AI that can write code.
AI, writing code.
Yeah. It could change how software is developed,
That's crazy.
potentially disrupt entire industries.
What role does Meta have in all of this? I mean, this AI revolution.
Well, they're at the forefront.
Yeah.
They're developing Llama 4. They're integrating AI into their products. Whichever company cracks this type of sophisticated AI first will have a huge advantage.
Right.
Accelerate their research and development.
Right.
Potentially dominate the field.
It sounds like a race to the future.
It is.
But what about the metaverse? I mean, is that still a thing?
Yeah. They're still heavily invested in it,
Okay.
but it's a long game. It's a long-term strategy.
So no virtual reality headsets taking over the world just yet?
Not quite, no.
Mm-hmm.
But their Ray-Ban Meta AI classes, those have been a hit. It seems people are, more willing to wear technology on their faces.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. They see 2025 as a pivotal year to see if those glasses become a major product category.
That could change everything. Imagine AI just right there in your field of vision.
It would be a whole new way of interacting with the world.
Exactly.
That.
Okay, so they've got these flashy new technologies, but they still have their core apps, right? Like, what about Facebook?
Right.
What about WhatsApp?
Right. So WhatsApp is growing like crazy, especially in the U.S.
Are they taking on iMessage?
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
And Facebook, Facebook is still huge, but they're trying to boost its cultural relevance.
OG Facebook. That's what they call it, right? Like, back to the good old days. I kind of miss those days.
I think a lot of people do. What I find really interesting is their move to embrace open source, especially with their AI development.
Why would they share their secrets?
Well, it's strategic. Think about it. It's like what they did with Open Compute, their open source hardware initiative.
Right.
By sharing their technology, they can leverage the collective intelligence of the developer community. They can learn from others' advances,
Yeah.
and they could potentially influence the direction of the whole field.
That's pretty clever. They're playing the long game here. So what's the big takeaway? What's the story of Meta's 2024?
Meta is walking a tightrope. They need to keep the cash flowing from advertising
Right.
while investing heavily in these, potentially huge but risky bets on the future, like AI, the metaverse.
Yeah.
It's a balancing act, but it's potentially revolutionary.
Absolutely. It's risky, it's ambitious, but it's fascinating. It seems like they're really determined to be at the forefront of this technological revolution. But what does it all mean for us, like the users?
That's the key question.
What impact will all of this have on our lives?
That's something we're going to have to explore further as we continue this deep dive into Meta's 2024.
I can't wait to see what we uncover.
Me too.
All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Sounds good. It's a complex landscape, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're juggling a lot, aren't they? What are some of the biggest challenges they're facing right now?
Well, the regulatory environment's a big one.
Right.
Data privacy,
Yeah.
that's a hot topic.
Yeah.
New laws, regulations popping up all the time.
Yeah.
It's a constant battle for Meta to stay compliant
Yeah, I bet.
and adapt their practices, especially with their advertising business model.
I can imagine. I mean, you've got GDPR in Europe, CCPA in California.
Right.
It's like this global patchwork of regulations.
Yes,
How do
sir.
they even manage all that?
It's a massive undertaking. They've had to make significant changes to their ad targeting and measurement tools to comply with these regulations,
Hmm.
which has, inevitably impacted their revenue growth.
Right.
It's a delicate balance,
Yeah,
between utilizing data effectively and respecting user privacy.
absolutely. And then there's the whole content moderation issue.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're constantly under scrutiny for, how they handle misinformation,
Mhm.
hate speech, and all sorts of problematic content on their platforms.
It's a tough spot they're in.
Right.
On the one hand, they need to uphold freedom of speech. On the other hand, they have a responsibility to prevent the spread of harmful content.
Yeah.
Finding that balance is, it's a challenge.
Yeah, it's a huge challenge. And
Yeah.
and it really impacts their reputation,
Oh, yeah.
you know? I mean, if users lose trust in their ability to moderate content effectively, they'll just go somewhere else.
Exactly.
And let's not forget the competition. I mean,
Yeah.
they've got TikTok vying for attention, Apple building its own ecosystem, and then you've got all these smaller players
Countless smaller players.
trying to, carve out their niche.
But it's a fierce landscape.
Yeah.
Meta can't afford to stand still.
They have to constantly innovate,
Yeah.
evolve just to stay ahead of the curve.
Absolutely.
It's a high stakes game for sure.
Mhm.
But you know what? You gotta admire their ambition.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not just trying to maintain their position, they're trying to define the future of the internet.
That's what makes them so fascinating to study.
It really is.
They're pushing boundaries.
Yeah.
They're taking risks. But they're also facing this immense pressure.
From all sides.
Yeah.
Speaking of pressure, they've had their share of internal challenges too, haven't they?
Oh, yeah?
There's been, criticism of their corporate culture,
Mhm.
their impact on society.
Yeah, they've been in the spotlight, for how they handle employee dissent,
Mm-hmm.
the broader societal implications of their platforms,
Right.
these internal struggles. They play a role in shaping their public perception and their future direction.
And then there's the stock market, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, their valuation's been on a roller coaster ride
Up and down.
in recent years. I mean, it just reflects the uncertainty around their future.
Their stock price, it's like a barometer of investor confidence.
Right.
And that confidence is tied to their ability to, navigate these challenges successfully
Mhm.
and deliver on their, ambitious plans.
So lots of uncertainty,
Yeah.
but also lots of potential, right?
Tons.
I mean, they're still a powerhouse
Oh, absolutely.
in the tech world.
They have the resources,
Yeah.
the talent.
Yeah.
They have the potential to achieve incredible things.
It all comes down to execution, really, doesn't it?
Execution, adaptability,
Yeah.
maybe a bit of luck.
All right, so let's circle back to their big bets.
All right.
AI, the metaverse, and threads.
Mm-hmm.
What's the common thread that connects all of these?
At their core, I think they all represent Meta's ambition to, build the next generation of social experiences.
Oh.
They're looking beyond the traditional, feed-based model
Right.
and exploring new ways for people to connect and interact online.
So what does that look like in practice? How are they envisioning these next generation experiences?
Well, they're experimenting with immersive technologies
Okay.
like uh, AI, virtual reality, augmented reality.
Mm-hmm.
They're exploring new forms of content, new ways to monetize, new ways to measure engagement.
Right.
It's about creating more personalized, engaging, and meaningful interactions online.
So they're trying to anticipate the future of social interaction
Yeah,
and position themselves at the forefront of that evolution.
exactly.
So AI is really at the heart of their strategy.
It's a key element in almost everything they do,
Yeah.
from content moderation to ad targeting to metaverse development. AI is the engine driving their innovation.
Okay, that makes Llama 4 even more significant.
Yeah,
This could be like a defining year for their AI
it
ambitions.
could be.
Absolutely. They're investing heavily in AI research and development.
Huge investments.
And we're seeing the results, right?
We're seeing the results in their products, yeah. AI is becoming increasingly integrated into their platforms,
Mm.
shaping the user experience in subtle but profound ways.
It's amazing to see how pervasive AI has become.
Yeah,
I mean, it's quietly shaping our online experiences, even if we don't realize it.
it's happening behind the scenes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just going to accelerate from here, isn't it?
It's only going to accelerate. AI is becoming more and more sophisticated,
Right.
and Meta is committed to leveraging its power to enhance their platforms and achieve their goals.
Okay, so let's talk about the metaverse.
Right.
It's still kind of a nebulous concept for a lot of people.
It is.
What exactly is Meta's vision for this virtual world?
They envision this persistent, shared virtual space
Okay.
where people can, interact with each other in a variety of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Think virtual concerts, conferences, immersive games, collaborative workspaces, even marketplaces for digital assets.
It's like expanding the possibilities of online interaction,
Yeah.
blurring the lines between the physical and digital.
Exactly.
It's ambitious.
It's hugely ambitious.
Do you think they can pull it off?
There's a lot of skepticism around the metaverse.
There is.
Some people dismiss it as, just a passing fad.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely a lot of hype. But I think there's substance to it as well.
Okay.
The underlying technology is advancing rapidly, and there are compelling use cases emerging. People are already using virtual worlds for various purposes,
Yeah.
and Meta is betting that this trend will continue to grow.
So they're not just building a platform, they're trying to create a whole new ecosystem.
Exactly. They're betting that the metaverse will be the next iteration of the internet, a more immersive and interactive online experience that, transcends the limitations of the current web.
Okay, so AI is powering the present.
Hmm.
Metaverse is the long-term vision.
Yeah.
But what about threads? Where does that fit in?
Threads is interesting
Yeah.
because it represents a more immediate opportunity for Meta.
Okay.
It's a real product, it has a rapidly growing user base,
Mm.
and it's directly challenging Twitter,
Right.
which has been, in a state of turmoil since Elon Musk's takeover.
Yeah, that whole Twitter saga has been a wild ride.
It has.
It's created an opening, hasn't it?
It has.
For competitors like Threads
Yeah,
to capitalize on, user dissatisfaction and offer an alternative.
exactly.
Meta is positioning Threads as a more positive, community-driven platform,
Mm-hmm.
which is, I guess, a stark contrast to, the often chaotic and divisive atmosphere on Twitter.
It is.
It's a smart move, and it seems to be working.
It seems to be working.
People are looking for online spaces where they can connect with others who share their interests, their values, without the negativity and drama.
And Meta is well positioned to provide those spaces.
Right.
They have the infrastructure, the resources, the experience
They do.
to create thriving online communities.
Yeah.
Threads is just one example of how they're leveraging their strengths to adapt to the evolving social media landscape.
So we've got AI driving their current products.
Right.
The metaverse as their long-term vision,
Mm-hmm.
and platforms like Threads capitalizing on, more immediate opportunities.
The multi-pronged approach,
It is.
shaping the future of online interaction.
It is. It is. But let's step back for a moment and think about the bigger picture here.
Right.
What does all this mean for the listener? Why should they care about these developments?
Well, it's important to understand that Meta is a powerful force in the world,
Mm.
and their decisions have a profound impact on our lives. whether we realize it or not.
Yeah.
They control the flow of information for billions of people.
Right.
They influence our opinions, shape our culture, and increasingly mediate our online experiences.
It's a lot of power concentrated in one company,
It is.
which raises some important questions
Yeah.
about accountability, transparency, and the potential for misuse.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We need to be aware of the influence they wield
Yeah.
and engage critically with the information they provide.
Right.
We can't just passively consume. We need to think for ourselves, question their motives, and demand responsible stewardship of their platforms.
It's like that old saying, don't believe everything you read on the internet. But these days, it goes beyond just reading. We need to be discerning about all the content we consume, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, or even in the Metaverse.
Absolutely. We need to develop our own filters.
Yeah.
Be aware of the biases and agendas that may be shaping the information we encounter.
Right?
It's about becoming informed and empowered users, not passive consumers.
It's not all doom and gloom, though, is it? I mean, these technologies have the potential to be forces for good.
Of course not.
Yeah.
I mean, AI can be used to address some of the world's most pressing problems,
Yeah.
from climate change to disease.
Right.
The metaverse could connect people in ways we haven't even imagined yet.
True.
Fostering understanding, collaboration across geographical and cultural barriers. And platforms like Threads can cultivate positive and supportive online communities,
Yeah.
providing spaces for meaningful dialogue and shared interest.
It really comes down to how we choose to use these tools.
It does?
We have a responsibility to shape these technologies and ensure they're used for good, not just for profit or control.
We have agency in this digital world.
Mm-hmm.
We can choose to be passive consumers
Yeah.
or active participants, shaping the future of these technologies and their impact on our lives and society.
That's a powerful message.
Yeah.
They're not just along for the ride. We have the ability to influence the direction of these advancements.
We do.
It is a balancing act, isn't it?
Yeah.
Harnessing the power of all this new technology while being mindful of the potential downsides.
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to build the future, but they're still grounded in the present.
They are. Meta's a company of contradictions in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
They're striving for innovation while facing scrutiny,
Right.
aiming for connection, while, dealing with division. It's what makes them so fascinating to study, really. They're kind of a case study in the evolution of these tech giants.
They really are. They're definitely keeping us on our toes.
Yeah.
So was there anything in these reports that surprised you? Anything that stood out?
You know what struck me? Their emphasis on financial discipline.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, despite these massive investments in AI and the metaverse, they're still laser focused on profitability. They're not just, throwing money at every shiny new project that comes along.
Well, they are a business at the end of the day, right?
They are.
They got to keep those profits rolling in.
Right, but they could easily be spending much more aggressively.
Yeah.
Given their resources.
That's true.
Their approach suggests a level of, maturity, strategic thinking. They're playing the long game.
Okay.
They're prioritizing sustainable growth over short-term gains.
So it's like they're balancing their entrepreneurial spirit with a sense of responsibility.
Exactly. They're not just chasing trends. They're trying to build a company that will endure, that will thrive,
Right.
for years to come.
And that long-term vision is reflected in their approach to these new technologies.
It is.
It's a good reminder that innovation isn't just about developing new technologies. It's also about managing them responsibly and ensuring that they benefit society as a whole.
Absolutely. And that brings us back to the importance of, informed and engaged users.
Yeah.
We have a role to play in shaping the future of these technologies.
Right.
Holding companies like Meta accountable, advocating for, ethical and responsible development.
It's a collaborative effort, isn't it? I mean, companies like Meta, they're building the tools, but it's up to us, the users, to guide their evolution and make sure they're used for good.
I think that's a key takeaway from this whole deep dive.
Yeah.
Meta's 2024 was a story of ambition, innovation, and complex challenges. They're pushing the boundaries of technology while grappling with ethical considerations, societal impact, fierce competition. It's a dynamic and evolving landscape.
It really is.
And it's crucial to stay informed and engaged.
So, to wrap it all up for our listeners,
Okay.
what's the one key message they should take away from our deep dive into Meta's 2024?
Pay attention to Meta. They're not just a company. They're a force shaping the digital world we live in.
Right.
Their decisions have far-reaching consequences, and it's our responsibility as users to understand their impact and advocate for responsible innovation.
They're a company worth watching, that's for sure. They're pushing the envelope, taking risks, trying to shape the future. But they're also facing, scrutiny, challenges along the way. It's a fascinating journey to follow.
And it's far from over.
Yeah,
The story of Meta, just like the digital world itself, is constantly evolving.
it is.
And we'll be here to help you navigate those twists and turns,
Absolutely.
decode the complexities and make sense of it all.
That's right. Keep your eyes on Meta, keep thinking critically, and keep exploring the possibilities of this ever-changing digital landscape. And until next time, happy diving.